The highlights and the full match. 23 minutes. What the f? Does this must include like announcer time and shit, right?
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, is now educator, writer, and philanthropist. His Instagram account went viral after BuzzFeed and people named him the 2015 Sexiest Doctor Alive. Ladies and gentlemen, he's here to prescribe KOs, Dr.
3 minutes,
yes.
12 ounce
Here we
gloves.
go.
Here we
Touch
go.
gloves. Dr.
And
Mike
we're right
is
away
going.
going.
God.
Big right hand.
Dr. Mike is swinging to put him to bed.
Dr. Mike is going to be dangerous.
What's the weight of both of these guys coming into this?
Early. There's that overhand that we were wondering about. We were talking about.
Big left hand again. Nice jab, Dr. Mike staying poised. Ian trying to keep him off with the jab.
150? Probably 170, 180. Why are you guessing? I'm just asking if you know. I don't know why you just type random numbers in chat. I mean, I can do this. Here we go. All right, my bad. Everybody type your favorite number in chat, I guess. I didn't know if there was like a weigh-in or an official announcement, but if you just want to guess, yeah, just go ahead and just type random shit, I guess. Okay.
Coming off the front
Oh,
foot.
nice jab, iDubbbz.
iDubbbz has a slickness about him. He has a slickness about him.
And he plays a little bit with the hand
Yes.
game.
I like how he keeps his weight back.
And fires off the
Hiding
right
his
hand.
chin,
off of
he's
it.
hiding his
nice
chin.
jab, Dr. Mike. Big
Ooh,
right
big
hand
right
comes
hand.
across the head. And again, folks, we're in 12 ounce gloves.
That is right.
That's one of those lands. Good night. Nice double jab right hand from Ian. iDubbbz coming forward.
I feel like Dr. Mike is going to be dangerous early. I feel like as the fight goes on, it might lean towards iDubbbz.
Yeah. Oh, man. It sounds like people commenting on my court case. Just kidding.
Again, feeling out process from both guys. iDubbbz trying to take the front feet here. Mike not letting him. Big right hand.
Oh, good combo.
Nice combo to the body there from Ian. Now Mike takes the lead.
Oh, big right hand.
Over the top. iDubbbz comes forward with a blitz to no avail. Nice jab right hand behind that though.
Nice combo.
How do they not have an official weigh-in or something where they make these announcements? How are there different things posted about this? This says he was 165 and Ian was 165 and Mike was 182. This one says they were both 188. Is Ian really 6'2"? He's really that tall? Damn.
Hand from Mike.
Trying to bury
It's
it.
a little bit behind the ear.
He's catching him a little bit on the inside of the glove as well. Not quite turning that shot over.
Correct.
iDubbbz definitely felt it.
Oh, yeah, that's why he clinched.
Oh, you can already see it on Mike's face.
With that right hand.
Big right hand.
Huge
What, I
right
missed it.
hand.
Oh,
Sorry.
you can already
Mike
see it on
is
Mike's
snapping
face.
with that right hand.
Big right hand.
Huge right hand from Dr. Mike, but Ian still waits forward.
Coming forward.
Jesus.
Got to be careful though because Mike
That's
has
correct.
lightning in those hands right now. Big right hand.
Big right hand.
Tackles him.
iDubbbz trying to stay in there. He's hurt. He's hurt. But he's coming forward.
Dr. Mike's looking for that right hand.
I know he's
Ian-
staying patient. There it is
right.
again.
He went for the clinch.
Folks, we have a minute.
Do you think somebody said Dr. Mike has had like years of like 5 years of training before? Is he going easy here, or do you think he's like trying to be polite because he didn't like chase him down? Or are you like not allowed to in events like this? Like here, he didn't like
Tackles him.
without a doubt. Okay.
iDubbbz trying to stay in there. He's hurt. He's hurt. But he's coming forward.
Dr. Mike's
Like I feel like he could have killed him, but maybe not.
There it is again.
He went for the clinch.
Folks, we have a minute left in this round. It's not a 2 minute.
Pacing, no. I don't know if you have to worry about pacing when you can just be punching the person in the face over and over again. No, I don't.
Clinch.
Folks, we have a minute left in this round. It's not a 2 minute round. I thought we were going for 3.
Ooh.
I guess we're going for 2.
That's right. We still had...
Yeah,
Overlay,
I don't know.
incorrect.
I think we're going to have to adjust here. For 2.
That was only 2.
Yeah, we're going to have to adjust here, folks, on the fly. It looks like we're going to be going 2 minute rounds from here on out.
I don't mean to be elitist, but this is the reason why people who haven't done any real job that involves management shouldn't do project management. Maybe, yeah. I don't know all the shit that went on. I don't have like a full... I just don't care enough to like dig into all the details for what went wrong or didn't go wrong at any of these events. So.
But look at that right hand, guys.
On the button.
And you're seeing a different explosiveness so far, right?
Absolutely. But I'm still very impressed with Ian's ability.
Ian had to come up in weight. Dr. Mike coming down.
Oh, they both weighed 188. Damn, I feel like there's like significantly different body composition for being the same weight. Jesus.
Not only to take a good strike, but he's delivered some of his own. You can see it on Mike's face. He's already got a little bit of swelling on his right eye.
Face sensor.
Yes.
When you see a big right hand, the electricity behind it from Dr. Mike. But not only that, iDubbbz's ability to get out of the way, it's going to have to show up here in round number 2.
Yeah, Ian was frustrated and he started to come forward. He has to be technical. Dr. Mike is dangerous early. Very dangerous
The
early.
speed, the power of Dr. Mike is definitely showing. He comes out right away. A little bit of a cheeky shot of Dr. Mike is definitely showing. He comes out right away. A little bit of a cheeky shot off the glove touch. I don't.
Oh, it's a little rough.
Not a big fan of stuff like that, but again, Dr. Mike maybe just in the moment.
It is tough. It is
He just
tough.
got excited. I think he was excited. I don't think he meant anything bad by it.
But again, when you put a guy down like that, you get a little over aggressive, and here comes iDubbbz.
I think iDubbbz has to do that. He has to duck under that right hand.
Oh, big right hand,
He has
Dr.
to
Mike
get
once
underneath
again.
that right
And he's
hand.
landing it flush. But Ian's wearing it well, and he's coming back here.
You know what I will say? Unfortunately, August delete the VOD because we don't ever shit talk the Paul brothers, okay? Because we love them. Which one is the boxing one again? Is it Jake Paul or Logan Paul or Paul whatever the fuck? Whoever the fuck he is. I just like the meme of Jake Paul. I will say, so far in the first round and up to here, there's been more action in this match than in all of the fucking Paul matches combined on average. Unless the recent ones have been more interesting. Oh my god, those were some boring boxing matches. Holy shit, the first few I saw. Jesus.
The power factor is showing here from Dr. Mike.
And Dr. Mike looks to start the
He's
start.
walking him down. He's talking him
down a little bit. A little feint there from Dr. Mike. iDubbbz moving away from the power hand.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to move.
On the ropes, big clubbing right hand behind that.
You can tell the power difference.
In the two
big factor
shots
here.
because Ian's landed a nice right hand this round as well. Now Ian slides around the outside. iDubbbz just trying to find his way past the big power of Dr. Mike right now.
Ian's got to get under that
Big
right hand.
right
He's got to
hand,
get
Dr.
under
Mike. Uppercut is there. The Dubbbz comes
Okay,
back.
he's fighting back out of the corner.
iDubbbz to the body. These are landing shots right here. Those are scoring.
He's got to
Just
another right hand.
past it.
Big difference.
But again, one of those lands.
That was a clean shot.
And we could absolutely start to see a change in this
Another
fight.
right hand.
And Dr.
He needed
Mike
to fight with his face
throwing,
more.
And he's being patient.
Rate their
He's throwing
technique?
that right
Well,
hand.
given that I have no idea.
It's landing at will.
All I know is getting hit in the face probably doesn't feel very good.
iDubbbz is in this phase now where he is swinging, but the defense is not there.
His legs are starting to go.
They're trading right hand.
Oh, another right
trade
hand.
with Dr. Mike, big right hand. And here comes iDubbbz back. And he's
Oh!
so quick. Right
How ordinary is it for I don't know if I've just seen too many compilations of like, you know, really good ref calls fight.
And here comes iDubbbz back.
Like I feel like in some of these I don't think you would call it. I don't know fuck all about boxing, but like the idea that the ref is just standing here and watching him like, whoa, like that could be a really scary hit. That could be like a murder hit because this, like Ian's hands are just like totally dropped and he's like, but I don't know, maybe they're, I don't know, who knows.
No quick. Right hand, Dr. Mike. Right hand. And the round.
That was the end of the round.
Saves.
Wow.
Ian. iDubbbz was
Maybe what if the ref was a Taliban? Oh shit. You want him to call the fight before the hit? I think in pro amateur boxing, generally everybody tries to be concerned with the longevity of all of the athletes. I think once a fighter has lost the ability to defend himself, I think they usually look to start to call it. Like if a fighter can't keep his hands up, I don't think they usually just play those out until the person is like knocked out, because the dude's gonna get permanently injured. That's my understanding. But I don't really know that much. Maybe in like pro events, maybe it doesn't work there, or maybe in amateur events it doesn't work there. But if a dude is like pinballing around with his arms down, like.
in trouble, guys.
That bell could not have come at a better time for iDubbbz.
I feel like being a ref is the toughest job. You either call the fight off too early or too late for fans. Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And look, as we take a look here, guys, we're seeing a massive, and we talked about it, we're seeing a massive power difference.
Yeah,
it's not that iDubbbz isn't landing, because he is, and he's working the body, and he's trying to do things to find a way inside of that big power. but when Mike lands, it is absolutely devastating.
Yeah, I knew Mike is going to be...
Happens all the time in MMA with no gloves. Nothing happened in years. I don't know if I call it MMA. I don't really even know that much about boxing, so.
dangerous early. Those are the first 2 rounds. You know, Ian...
Well, you gotta find his coach.
He's wobbly.
Oh, that's the guy. That's the guy.
To recover from this, he can really use his footwork and use some of that slickness because
we're taking a look in both corners. Both men definitely feeling this moment. It's going to be interesting to see. Now we're in the back half of this fight. Does anything change here for Dr. Mike? Because he's been patient.
Jesus!
That right landed. You could tell it's really affecting Ian.
All right. Here we go. We're trying to get Mike's team out of the ring. There's the bell. Round number 3.
He was ready for that time.
Quick adjustment, guys. I think we might have added our 5th round.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured.
So we're going 5-2s, just like our undercard, on the fly. But we rock with it, just like that big right hand rocks.
Got to get underneath
iDubbbz, but iDubbbz comes back.
Yes.
And this is what we're seeing.
Oh, sharp. That was quick.
Oh, boy.
Again, beautiful right hand.
Do they actually, are they scoring it? They must be, right? Because if somebody doesn't get knocked out, they have to figure out a winner. Why is my thing doing that now? Stop.
He is.
And he's taking these shots, and yes, they're devastating. And yes, you can't take too many more of them, but the heart he is showing and his ability to fire back to the body, upstairs, to the body, upstairs.
Those are some big shots from Ian.
Dr. Mike is clinching.
Referee separates, big, deep breath from iDubbbz, but he comes back strong. Jab right hand.
Doing a good job
on the
keeping
gloves.
that hand up. He's
on the
keeping
gloves.
that hand up. That
Great
makes a
high
big
guard.
difference.
Ooh, the big right hand.
Lance right over the shoulder.
Big right hand.
That's a nice right hand.
That one lands flush. But Dr. Mike continues to come forward.
I think the problem is when they're, and I'm just watching, but like, I think the problem is when there's like big right hand from Ian, like it's a big one and that it is connecting, but I don't know how much like actual force is behind any of these hits. Whereas it looks like when Dr. Mike is connecting, it's like stars, Jesus.
And again, iDubbbz finding his way into range. Now Dr. Mike stalking forward on the front foot. Jab, right hand behind it, jab, right hand.
Dr. Mike's looking to come back. He's got to land some of his own.
And we clinch. Who wants this fight?
But hey, this is still a good action match, all right?
That's right.
Who wants it more? We're going to find out right here as they hit the ropes right in front of us. 30 seconds left, round 3. Both men putting it on display. Right hand, Dr. Mike.
Ian's got to lift that left hand up. That hand is dropping. He's keeping that again.
Another one.
It's slipping right in there around the glove.
Oh, big right hand to the body. Dr. Mike.
Right in there around the glove.
Oh, big right hand to the body. Dr. Mike, slick little jab off the right hand, clubs
Ian
again.
looks like he's on wobbly legs here.
Yeah.
Yep, they're starting
Last
to give
10
out.
seconds. Last 10 seconds.
No, he
looks for the
thought it was the end of the bell.
Big right hand,
You can
Dr.
hear that
Mike.
right hand landed. That landed above the ear.
Another one.
Another one.
And there is the end of the round.
Whoa, was that an after the bell hit?
Another one. And there
Oh my
is
God, that's when the music is supposed to start. It's supposed to scream at each other.
the end of the round.
That's right.
Gentlemen, we're 3 rounds in.
Round.
Sensei.
Wait, was there drama around this hit? I feel like we saw this a long time ago. That was kind of Mimi at the start of the 2nd round.
Oh, you can already
When he did the little tap smack. Did anybody talk about that? Why did he do
He's trying to
that?
come forward. He has very dangerous
The
early.
speed, the power
Correct.
of Dr. Mike is
This one here, you do the tap to see that you're a good manner, but he gave him a little love smack.
definitely showing the
Dr. Mike has a video about it? Okay. Jesus.
on that gas tank, but we're on wobbly legs.
Yep.
Right hand on the pipe from Dr. Mike. Head movement.
Now he's getting under it.
Now
That's
we're
the way
seeing
to
some
get
head
under it.
movement.
Yes.
Did iDubbbz find
He did that in the first round as well? Oh, I didn't know that.
something here?
I didn't
The
see.
head movement is starting to come out.
Nice body
Dr.
shots
Mike,
again.
Clean shots,
Dr. Mike's
though.
looking for
Clean
that right. He's
shots.
looking for that
And
right.
these aren't effort shots. These are just on balance, big-time shots from the doctor.
That
Big
right hand.
clubbing.
He's got to get underneath that. He's got to roll on it.
Right hand from Ian coming forward.
Off the gloves, though. See Dr. Mike is
You
that
can
tight
see
guard.
the difference.
That tight guard.
Ian-
He makes it the whole time though, right?
Oh, he is just fighting through
It is
so much.
all incredible. Aired across the ring, a warrior in his own right, but Dr.
Incredible.
Mike as well.
What a performance.
Wow.
The ability to stand up through all of that from Ian is beyond impressive.
He took all we await.
Distance, incredible fight bar, 2 fighters right here. The judges have scored the main event as follows. Brodden Jackson scores 50-45. Michael Ross scores 50-45. And Tito Wilgo scores 49-46 to the winner by unanimous decision, Dr. Mike!
Folks, the man came in, he gave it everything he had, and Chills is with our winner on the night.
Okay. Can't wait for next year's Blue Wave. Democrat Keishan Scott wins the special election for South Carolina's 50th State House District, defeating Republican William Oden by over 41 points. In a district, Kamala Harris won by about 5 points. The biggest thing you should look forward to in 2028. So Democrats do better in off-season elections. I think a big part of that right now is because there's not much. The Republican Party has basically been completely destroyed. You have, you've just got MAGA. It's the party of Trump. Once Trump is gone, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to give a fuck about the next election. And I'm curious, unless, well, I say that now, unless somebody can step up and take Trump's place. You don't think Vance can? Vance has no fucking charisma whatsoever. Somebody said earlier, Destiny, Dr. Mike said he's not like a pro, just an amateur. The rounds were also, it was also 3 minutes instead of 2. So you have to understand something, that when people say amateur, hold on. If this is like 0 to 100% of society, professional is like barely seeable over here, the top sliver, and amateur in terms of overall capability is going to be like here. And 97% of society is going to fall within this bound, okay? Like you could argue for StarCraft that I was like an amateur, between amateur and pro, I guess, like StarCraft player. But like if you're a Grandmaster on the ladder, you're better than, what is it, 99.8? No, more than that, because Jam was limited to 200 people, right? So if somebody says I was an amateur boxer, and you're like, oh, he's just an amateur, I can train for a few months and beat him. An amateur could imply years and years of conditioning and fight-specific training. Like, yeah, just be careful. Just because somebody amateur doesn't mean, I don't think, well, unless boxing or whatever, or any of these fighting sports are different, but I doubt they are. Amateur doesn't mean colloquially like, oh, amateur is in like he just does it for fun. I think that usually that implies some structured formal training in the thing. But that's going on. But what did Dr. Mike mean by amateur? If somebody describes themselves as amateur, my assumption is going to be that they've had formal training. That would be my assumption when Dr. Mike says that he did it in college or something else. I think most people would assume that. I don't think anybody says amateur as in like, I just do this for fun. You would just say, I do this for fun, or I've never had any formal training. If somebody describes themselves as amateur, I think you would assume that there's some level of some kind of formal or semi-formal training. Are we going to watch State of Play? We watched some of it. I don't really care about the rest of it, though. We might watch the rest of this. Okay, hold on. There's 2 things I need to ask about. What am I looking for? Oh. Oh. Okay. Has anybody ever used one of these before? This stupid bot is just spamming. Okay, listen. Krynax told me he cried and cried and cried about me adding this bot. Okay? If it's too spammy, I'll delete it. Is he still here, or did he just did he dip after? This is not at all what I was looking for. Oh, Vestaboard. Vestaboard review.
I'll admit it, I was pretty skeptical about trying out Vestaboard, the $3,000 smart messaging display that looks like it belongs in an old train station. But after setting it up and using it in my smart home, I'm convinced it's one of the coolest gadgets you can get.
Coolest gadgets?
That is, if you can afford it.
Okay, not to judge, but this is called Tom's Guide? This does not sound like a Tom speaking.
While it's hard to look past the price tag, I can honestly say in all my years of reviewing smart home devices that I've never seen anything quite like Vestaboard before. It's a split flap display composed of 132 character modules that spin to show all kinds of messages, from personalized greetings and sports scores to inventive designs, dad jokes, and more. It's like a piece of art, except it can be customized endlessly. Vestaboard sent me a review unit of its classic model to test out. I commissioned my dad for help installing the Vestaboard, following the instructions on the
Tony Soprano?
piece of mounting guide. We screwed in the included mounting hardware and hung the device on the wall. The unit weighs 55 pounds, so I definitely consider it a two-person job. The only sort of headache I had with the installation was the length of the power cable. It comes with only a 19.7-inch cord, which works if you have a recessed outlet behind the display, but I do not. I had to use an extension cord. Luckily, I had one laying around, but I think if you're paying $3,000, you should get a second cord option included. Once I had the Vestaboard mounted, I used the pairing code shown on the display to connect the device to the Vestaboard app on my smartphone. From there, I had the freedom to experiment with all the different messaging features. I'm about to send the cutest message on the Vestaboard. Let's see it in action. Look at it go! Tell me that's not so sweet. But I started exploring the other daily recommendations, which included inspirational quotes and even holiday-themed designs. Some templates leave you space to personalize messages with names or occasions, and you can make messages up completely.
Is there like an API for this? So that, because if I were to get this, it would just be to like throw up like a sub message or something from chat. There must be some way to get information in and out of this app or something, right?
From scratch. Now, I've set the Vestaboard up in my kitchen, which is exactly what I wanted, and for one reason. I cook dinner all the time, but I'm always being asked what's for dinner, what's on the menu. Now, no one needs to ask. I can just put the menu on the Vestaboard. After dinner, I sat down and dug into features exclusive to Vestaboard Plus, a $95 per year service that unlocks a large collection of Vestaboard-compatible apps.
Yes, software as a service for everything. Yes, please charge me a yearly subscription to use your product. Yes, your $3,500 product.
After dinner, I sat down and dug into features exclusive to Vestaboard Plus, a $95 per year service that unlocks a large collection of Vestaboard-compatible apps. This is when I should mention that the Vestaboard is rather loud when exchanging messages. The clicking sound is somewhat satisfying when you're expecting it, but it can also be disturbing very early in the morning or late at night. Luckily, you can set quiet hours that stop the Vestaboard from receiving new messages during designated times. But in the morning with the World Cup final underway, I installed the World Cup app to update the display with minute-by-minute match progress. Vestaboard and all of its messaging features are awesome, but totally unnecessary for most people. Besides, for half the price, you can get a premium LG OLED TV or Samsung QLED TV that has ambient display features. But if you're equal parts techie and arty, I think you'll find the modern Vestaboard comes to life with its magnetic personality, taking inspiration from mechanical split-flap displays used to find in every train station, of course. I think the longer cable and Vestaboard Plus membership should be included for the device's steep price, though
You can integrate it with Home Assistant. Is Home Assistant Google?
also fair for me to think that those who have the money to spend on a Vestaboard can also afford an extension cord or recessed mounting, as well as the subscription fee. For your fancy friend or family member who likes functional art and has an appreciation for interactive gadgets, the Vestaboard makes a great smart home gift. Though I've heard some new
It's an open source platform.
Our features are coming to Vestaboard in 2023, so it could pay to wait until it offers deeper integrations with your other smart home devices. We'll be sure to update you on social.
I have no idea. Everyone's saying it's noisy. I have no idea how noisy this would sound with a actual microphone. I have no idea. I have no clue.
So give us a follow at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Tom's Guide. And as always, I'm at Kate Kozich. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.
What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing
Spencer,
a very
help us out.
expensive yet very cool piece of tech that I think fits really well in the household. And I'm sure you've seen it around the internet before, and I'm sure you've looked at the price and thought, holy cow. But today I'm going to dive into if you're able to afford something like this, I think it's a really cool sort of centerpiece, a good talking piece, and it's a functional piece of art that I think belongs in a kitchen or in a living room, but we'll get to that in a second. Special thanks to Vestaboard for sending me out the board itself, and I do make commission on sales at the link down below, but also you can use that link to get $300 off your order. Take that as you may. All of my thoughts and opinions are my own. Vestaboard didn't ask me to say anything, so as always, honest reviews on this channel are what you can expect. I don't know. Whoa. Whoa. Look at this thing. Wow. This is cool. Look at that. That is, whoa. That is so sick. So these, where are you guys? These individually, and I don't really want to mess with them right now, but each individual block is called a bit, I think they call them. If it's not called a bit, Ben's going to put up the right term right here.
Wow, good job.
So
bit is correct.
Any one of these breaks, you can just swap them out. But so sick. You've got colors, letters, numbers, maybe even some special characters. Charging cable. I'll say though, as complicated as this looks, I know that it's heavily tested.
How many people can donate to change the message? That's what I was thinking of because this would actually give at least the Kick Chat or something to redeem their rewards on.
And for what I have,
or some other way to integrate it with Stream, I'm not sure.
Here I have the board. I have a charging cable, not charging, but the cable to plug it into an outlet, some screws, the faceplate, and the thing you hang it on. So setting this up is going to be hard in terms of getting it centered on the wall. But if I do that well, there's not much here to set up. It's hang it on the wall, plug it in. So yeah, first look, super cool. I'm just so excited for this. Look at that. That's so cool. Anyway, that's gonna do it for the unboxing. Let me just say this. Experience-wise, I kind of just gave you the idea of it seems simple to set up, but all metal materials. Not all metal, but mostly metal, robust. It's a premium item, but this is super cool. I'm really excited for this. If you couldn't tell,
Fuck
I think
me, dude.
Build quality.
Oh my God. Whoever just messaged me on Discord, I have no idea who you are. I just closed your message. I hate it when you go to close the thing on Discord and another one pops up and you click the X on it. So whoever just messaged me, your shit is never getting responded to unless you send it again. Sorry.
The intentionality behind it, use cases, there's just a lot of really cool stuff going on here. And I'm excited to play around with this and see what it's all about. So that does it for the unboxing. I'll catch you guys after a week or two of, playing around with this, getting it set up. I'm gonna kind of just see how this looks. Here's our messy kitchen. I think because it's so contrasted, it's really, it seems a lot bigger, honestly, than I thought. It takes up quite a bit of that wall. We'll have to see what my wife thinks. I don't know if I love this situation, but I'm not really sure how to, please disregard our fridge. It's an atrocity. I'm not really sure how to get around that. I could use a white cable probably, a tiny 6-inch or whatever extension cord. Because it would be cool if this was just floating with no visible wires. I think that's the best look for it. I went to buy some camouflage pants. But I couldn't find any. Wow, okay. Here's the deal. I'm going to, as always, play around with this for a week or two, figure out what works best for my family, show how we're using it, and get back to you all with my full review. I'm geeking out. I think this is so cool, but anyway, how exciting. So let's get the price out of the way. $3,295 for this smart mechanical message board. Now, when I first saw Vestaboard on some Instagram ads or around the internet, I thought if I owned a coffee shop, which by the way, I planned on doing that at one point previously in my life. Long story, not really important for today. If I owned a coffee shop, I would have these as my menu boards. I'd have 4 of them maybe, which is actually a lot of money, but I would have a bunch of them and be displaying the types of coffee, the specials of today, some artwork, have maybe the weather on one of them. These things are so cool and functional, and of course they're smart boards, so it's connected to an app, which we'll get to here in a second, but I never really envisioned how it could sit in a household. And when I got in contact with Vestaboard, they said, hey, we're really trying to see if these will fit into the home. So see if you can find somewhere in the house you could place it and see, how it works with your family and things like that. And I immediately started thinking, my daughter's 4, my son is 1.5. They are gonna love this thing. And my nieces and nephew
they're all going to love this thing. So I definitely think this is an interesting device for family connectivity. There's lots of different things you can do within the app itself to send messages to the board, and you don't have to be, close to the board Bluetooth wise or even on the same Wi-Fi. The app works with, across their network or whatever, however that works. I know very little about that stuff, but I started thinking, business trips are a way that business trips take me away from my family and more connectivity with them, FaceTime, all that good stuff too. But like, what if I could send my daughter special little messages or write her name on the board while I'm in a hotel somewhere, right? I immediately started thinking about that. I started thinking about, even just me at the office during the summertime when she's home and like sending her messages and making even like some art that I could send to her. I thought that would be really fun. And I've actually been doing that, which has been super fun and super cute. I only wish I could see her face when those things pop up on the board, but I usually have my wife read them to her. That's been a really fun way we do this. My daughter also just loves scrolling through like the art of the day feed and like picking some and like just watching it get sent to the board.
You want this for stream? I don't know if I would stick it in my background here, but I'm thinking more for anything else. I'm just not sure.
Hey, set, go, and then it, sends it to the board. So anyway, and that kind of leads us into Vestaboard Plus. So there is a pro subscription you can buy, which I know a lot of people hate subscriptions. But that said, without the subscription, there's still a lot of things you can do. You can still send messages to the board from afar. You can still do fun things, interactive things with the board. But Vestaboard Plus has a lot of these channels, which people like me, I can create a type of channel and then even submit it to Vestaboard to be uploaded to the community to use. And these channels are really interesting because you can do things like someone has created the office quotes, and it just has all of these office quotes. You can cycle through them at different intervals throughout the day. We've been using Daily Bread, I think is the channel, and it's just random Bible verses that get played. We have that running every hour, and you can even sort of mash up those things into one channel so that every 15 minutes it either does a Bible verse or, The Office or Parks and Rec quote or Elf, like the Christmas movie quote. But there's like a ton.
Fuck politics, our current events, even drama stop. I love watching ads, things I see. My stream title is literally boring stream / housekeeping random stuff. If you can't read, I don't know what you're even doing here, my friend.
These channels, and they range in functionality. There's some that are like they display.
Are you planning to watch Scott Galloway? Yes, I'll watch it tomorrow. I've got like 30 minutes before my other show starts. I don't have time to watch other shit, and I'm doing boring stuff right now. Okay, suck a dick.
There are some that will show the sports score of a game that's going on. I have it set whenever my team where I went to school, Virginia Tech, is playing. Whenever there's a game on, it will update live whenever there's a scoring play, so you can see the score and the time during the game in real time on the board, which that's super fun. So I think it's not just a way to interact with your family, but also like we had a friend come over the other day, and I had Lena tell me a message she wanted to write to welcome my wife's friend. To welcome her to our house. So like there's interesting stuff you can do when, hosting guests and stuff like that too. It's not just this random, like, let's put a message up on the smart TV, which is fine. It's the whole experience. It's this mechanical board that has these little flaps that flip, and each one of these little modules is called a blip, and you can actually replace those. So if one breaks or something, you don't have to replace this whole expensive board. You just replace the little blip. And when you really start to think about like all of the pieces and the like precision that has to go into something like this, the price starts to make more sense. I think the same thing can kind of be said for like a Ferrari. Like, it's priced expensively because it is well made and there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of engineering and tech and everything and whatever that goes into a car. I'm not a huge car person, but the price tag makes sense because of how amazing it is. And it's not just like, here's a knife, and because it's got a certain brand on it, now this knife is worth $20,000. This thing is kind of like an engineering masterpiece, in my opinion, and it works every time. It truly does, at least in my experience. And so like the price tag to me, I haven't gone through and added up what I think this thing would cost if I were to get in there and like do all this coding and all that. But there's so much that goes into this, and it's not just like a software or like, a smart TV where like it's become a commodity with the components. Like this is a very interesting and, like I said, precise thing. And so the price tag to me makes a lot of sense. Now, whether or not it's affordable to you is sort of the thing here. And, if you're able to afford something like this, I definitely think it's great because of, like I said, like the joy it can bring to people, to guests, to your children, to your family, the functionality, and some of the like, hey, you've got a meeting in 15 minutes, like I have during the workday when I'm working at home. Before every meeting, I have 30 minutes before it says, hey, this meeting's coming up. There's just so much you can do, especially with Vestaboard Plus, that
do you not have a phone?
Just really makes this just like one of those pieces of tech, in my opinion, that just kind of has the whole package. It's similar to the Terra Cafe that I reviewed, the coffee machine, where not only does it do a lot, it replaced a lot of machines in my kitchen, it also looks fantastic, and like it's a talking point for guests that come over. Like you can stand around it and watch it do its thing while having a conversation. Like this kind of tech is really, really cool to me. And again, this is another piece of tech that influenced the idea of my new-ish sort of leisurely newsletter called Form and Function, which you can check out at the link down below, where I feature these beautifully designed products that have a good amount of form and function to them. So anyway, I think this is super cool. It's really fun. They've got a black version, which is the one I have. They also have a white version, which also looks really nice, just depending on your vibe, maybe in your house. My kids have loved this. My wife has loved it. We've gotten a lot of use out of it already. This is the kind of like product where, we're thinking about potentially getting a new house in the next year or so. And I'm already thinking like, where would be a cool place we could put this? Like if our kitchen's bigger or our family room is bigger, can we find space on a wall to put something like this? Because I do think like over time, this will be a way that we communicate with one another, like putting up chores on there as the kids get older, or reminders like soccer practice tonight, things like that. It's really cool to me. And they do have through Affirm $83 a month, 0% APR, which is pretty cool. I'm just noticing that now. So with most products these days, you can do things that way, but a little bit more affordable.
What? I'm sorry, hold on.
communicate with one another, like putting up chores on there as the kids get older, or reminders like soccer practice tonight, things like that. Is just it's really cool to me. And they do have through Affirm $83 a month, 0% APR, which is pretty cool. I'm just noticing that now. So with most,
if you're ever buying luxury items like this and you're financing them, you're making significant mistakes in life. Okay.
These days you can do things that way, but a little bit more affordable way to pay for it over time. So anyway, that's just a quick look at Vestaboard and how we've been using it at our house. The experience that we've had with it. Again, I feel if you have like a business or something, this will work really well there too. Like put it in a conference room and you can have some facts and figures on there, or outside the conference room and show who has the conference room coming up for the next hour, or whatever it might be, sales wins. Like there's so much cool functionality and cool stuff you can do with this. And I can talk about it all day. I've already been going for way too long. So again, thanks to Vestaboard for sending this out. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing and like this video for more. On this channel, we talk about tech from an intentional living perspective. And our goal is to talk about tech from an experiential perspective, not necessarily in the tech, the specs and all that kind of stuff, but how we use tech. And does it help make our lives easier? Does it improve the quality of life? Check this video out next. I think you're going to love it. And I'll see you all in the next one.
Okay, we'll try it out. Fuck it. Somebody said there's something else called terminal. This?
What's up? My name is Ryan, and in this video, we're going to
building a custom e-ink dashboard. Oh, this is a different thing. The other thing is cute because it's a mechanical, all the bits, I guess you call them, but. The thing will probably come down to how loud it actually sounds on stream, but I have no idea how loud it'll sound coming through actual microphones. You've said that before, but what's a rational reason why doing shit like Klarna is bad? Not that I do, but spread out the payments and paying no interest. I mean, you can do the payment seems fine to me. You're probably just, if you can't afford to buy a burrito outright and you have to finance a burrito, then you're probably not in a financially stable enough situation to be responsibly managing long-term payments like that. It's probably just not a good idea. Okay, hold on. I'm turning this kicklet bot off. This thing is insanely fucking spammy. Until Synax or whatever decides to change how they do this. Oh, also, I think counterpoints is coming down. If you want to post questions for an AMA we're doing, here you go. Hold on. I don't know how to turn this thing off. Dashboard. Commands? Oh, Krynax is here? What? Hello? Everybody's complaining. Dude, this thing is spamming like crazy. Are you just standing there watching everybody complaining about it? What the fuck? Did you do this Minecraft speedrun 6-minute throw from yesterday? Bro, if it's not XQC or Forsen, why the fuck would I care? He got it all. Okay, he's fixing it. All right. Are Connor and Counterpoints both called Counterpoints? Maybe. Honest to God, I actually don't know what his online name is. I don't know if it's Counterpoints or Counterpoints. So usually I just say Counterpoints, and then it kind of sounds like both, and then I just leave it at that. I don't know what I feel like he goes by both. Okay, assuming that I'm wearing a nice, darker colored suit. I'm looking for like a nice watch, I guess. Somebody link me this one because the thing goes around evenly or some bullshit. No, wait, that's not... Oh, yeah, because it has a spring drive. I don't want any leathery bands or any bullshit, I think. No white face. Ask XQC? I did, and he said it was a nice watch. Like, I don't think I ever want any, like, leather banded stuff like this. I don't think. Also, I don't know if I want, like... I don't know, like, if a blue-colored face... Does this go with everything? Wait, does that die work? Wait. This guy, does he do watches? Watches with formal watches? What would you even call these? Watches, suits? Okay, fuck. He wrote this. Finding the right watch for your wardrobe. Formal watches are what I would wear with a tuxedo or very conservative business outfit. For these things, I think the watch should be a smaller, more discreet design, smaller than 40 millimeter, and be thin enough to fit under a shirt cuff. Then have a round, rectangular, or blah, blah, blah. Ugh. Get the 140/60 Submariner, last of the best of its kind. Die-hard tool watch. Everyday beater before the Submariner went ceramic, or a 5-digit Smurf sub. Jesus. It says 40 millimeter though, isn't that big? Will this fit under a shirt cuff? Somebody said Rolex is meh or overpriced and that the Seiko bullshit is hidden OP. This is not a watch for suits. What's your wrist circumference? Probably a small or whatever. I don't know what the actual circumference is. Don't lecture me about watches when you're a pedophile. Gee, wait, what? Jesus. What the fuck? Account owner has... Oh, damn. Oh my god. Seiko literally has an FF7 watch? Yeah, but I feel like that's probably tacky. How the oh. How do you do a full review for a watch and not post pictures of it? Well, scroll if you want past pics. Oh, image album. You're right. What? Okay. Why does he have a... Oh, God. No. No. This is why I'm not... I'm sorry. I can't get this shit. I can't be associated with these people. Okay? Ted Baldessari is the most popular watch reviewer. Has he reviewed this watch? The watch that made Grand Seiko a household name.
Hi everyone, Teddy
Well, maybe that makes it seem like it's a good watch, right?
Baldassar with TeddyBaldassar.com, and in this video, we're looking at a classic from Grand Seiko, the SBGA 211, also known as the Snowflake. So if you're not familiar with this channel, this is where we cover
The Snowflake.
watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassar.com, as an authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive in this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout the video, you have further questions. Check out the link in the description down below to the product page, where you can also reach out to one of my colleagues on live chat if you have any questions at all. Without further ado, jump into the video, take a closer look at this watch. Two of the key elements that have led to Grand Seiko's worldwide acclaim are their captivating dials and their trailblazing technology known as spring drive. If there was an original
Trailblazing
poster child of infusing these two ideas into a singular form, it has to be their now iconic Snowflake. When first introduced, collectors were dazzled by the ultra-fine finish of the titanium case, wowed by the technological prowess of the spring drive movement, and absolutely blown away by that dial. Grand Seiko has been known in their native Japan for outstanding quality since the 60s, but only dedicated collectors outside of Japan had an awareness of them for decades. One of the most notable vehicles that transmitted the message of Grand Seiko's capabilities to foreign lands was the evolution of the Snowflake. The original SBGA 011 Snowflake made its debut in Japan in 2005, showcasing their 9R spring drive caliber. The elevated status of Grand Seiko over its more attainable brother Seiko was always there. However, given the business structure, Grand Seiko operated as a subsidiary under Seiko for years, with these early versions of the Snowflake giving a clue to this with the double branding. That was until 2017, when Grand Seiko developed its independence as its own business entity. Simultaneously with this announcement, Grand Seiko needed a hero product to show what the brand was all about. Enter the SBGA 211. This was probably the piece that put Grand Seiko on the worldwide stage.
I'm sure your tailor would give you a better suggestion than... Oh shit, you're right. I should just email that dude. I'll ask him about this.
It had the revolutionary movement, phenomenal case finishing, the imagery of nature with its dial, and now a singular signed dial to show the brand's independence. So with this preamble out of the way, let's take a closer look at the SBGA 211. If you remember the early reactions to the Snowflake online, you would hear things like video or photos don't do these watches justice. But let's be clear, it looks pretty amazing with the camera as well. If you haven't seen a Snowflake up close, it's easy to get lost in the frigid texture of the dial. And it's one of the crowning jewels in Grand Seiko's growing portfolio of dials that take their inspiration from nature. The beginning of the Snowflake dial and its unique appearance go all the way back to the 1970s. Before Grand Seiko's debut on the world stage in the early 2000s, the brand was gearing up for the introduction of their 9R spring drive movement, and their Shinshu watch studio was commissioned to create a spectacular new dial worthy of that groundbreaking caliber. Inspired by the snow-covered mountains surrounding the studio, they set about creating a brilliant white texture with a high degree of reflectivity. A prototype stamped brass dial from a 1971 experiment had the correct texture, so then the challenge became how to finish it in a dazzling white. Simply painting the dial tended to smooth out the surface, filling in those microscopic textures. So some creative thinking was necessary, and the solution was, believe it or not, silver. Pure silver has the highest light reflection of any metal. After a long period of trial and error, Grand Seiko had its formula. That silver-plated, so some creative thinking...
Wait, what does this thing do? This is like how much gas you have? The fuck?
Was necessary, and the solution was that silver-plated brass dial reflected and refracted the light so brilliantly that it actually appeared white to the naked eye, and a finish that looked like driven snow was the result. But the rest of the dial is no less than spectacular, with those razor-sharp Dauphine hands. Equally stunning are the faceted indices, where each facet is cut independently on a drum operated by a trained artisan that has to align each index and inspects to ensure the right amount of reflection is achieved. A frame date window at 3 matches the frosty Snowflake aesthetic, as does the spring drive power reserve indicator hand above 7. A thermally blued second hand breaks the white and silver motif with its gliding sweep effortlessly running along the dial. Dial text is simple and clean with the Grand Seiko logo and the word mark below 12, and spring drive above 6. A familiar term in Grand Seiko's glossary you may be familiar with is Zaratsu, and this high-intensity titanium case is expertly done using the process. One of the most interesting results of the Zaratsu process...
It's a power reserve. What, do you have to wind these up, or do you put batteries in them, or what?
is how it manages to make titanium, a material that is notorious for its difficulty to polish, look like stainless steel if you were not privy. The curves and the beveled edges of the 41mm case feature a combination of hairline brushed and mirror polished finishing. The process of Zaratsu calls upon a rotating metal disc fitted with an abrasive sheet that spins rapidly as an artisan hand applies pressure to create the form of the case as well as these distinctive facets. True to the Grand Seiko theme of heritage watches, the case is 100 meters water resistant and it features a screw-down crown for added protection. The 3-link bracelet features a nice mix of finishing and secures with a branded 2-button clasp. Since this is titanium, the bracelet calls upon pins for changing as opposed to screws in many other stainless steel watches.
It winds with movement. What the fuck? That sounds wild.
And it doesn't offer any on-the-fly adjustment, which is one of the main pain points for collectors when looking at this watch. Looking at the wearability, you have a 41mm diameter as mentioned, the thickness at 12.5mm, and a lug-to-lug of 49mm. That might seem like a larger watch, but on the wrist, I would say this wears closer to a 40mm, given that you're going to have some assistance with how the bracelet is going to meet the case, and then also the titanium being lightweight makes this one not feel as heavy on the wrist, and in turn, makes it wear smaller. With such a spectacular dial and sharply executed case, it can be easy to forget the other highlights of the Snowflake, including the technological masterpiece of the 9R spring drive movement. The spring drive movement combines the
What is your use case? Only wear with suit once every few months, or do you want a daily wear? No, I just want to think, just literally only that goes with my suit. Otherwise, I would always just wear my Apple Watch.
Signs
this would be if I'm wearing my suit. Or any of my suits or whatever, like formal wear.
Providing a power supply driven by our motion through an oscillating weight and a mainspring in a barrel with the upsides of a quartz watch with its accuracy and stability under duress, whether by temperature or position. To lay down in the most simple form, the spring drive uses mechanical power as a reserve of energy with the help of a mainspring, and with the freely rotating wheel known as a glide wheel at the far end of the gear train, is able to create a small electrical charge with the help of its magnet at its axis in close proximity to copper wire. That sends an electrical signal to an integrated circuit and quartz oscillator. From here, the IC is able to send back an electromagnetic pulse to the glide wheel with the help of copper wire acting as a frictionless brake to ensure the wheel rotates in a single direction 8 times per second. In turn, creating the effortless sweep that you will see on the front of the second hand, as well as making possible its incredible accuracy. All of this is done while also being ultra efficient in the process. In fact, if you were to give every person in the United States and Europe a single spring drive watch, the electrical charge created by the glide wheel and all of those watches could not power a single light bulb. With the movement topped off, it has a power reserve of 72 hours, which can be seen at any moment on the front of the dial. And in short, spring drive is a technological embodiment of Grand Seiko's ethos of watchmaking. It's forward-thinking, creative, effortless, and ultra meticulous. In terms of some of the other features, it does feature hand winding and hacking. Hacking stop in the seconds when you pull the crown to the farthest position. Power reserve again is 72 hours. And in terms of other features, it does feature hand winding and hacking. Hacking stop in the seconds when you pull the crown to the farthest position. Power.
What?
Meticulous. In terms of some of the other features, it does feature hand winding and hacking. Hacking stop in the seconds when you pull the crown to the farthest position.
Hacking stops the seconds when you pull the crown to the farthest position? Is that? I don't know.
Power reserve again is 72 hours. And in terms,
it lets you freeze the second hand so you can line it up with real time. Oh.
Of accuracy, plus or minus 1 second per day, or plus or minus 15 seconds per month. And how that accuracy is achieved is coming down to the amount of vibrations per second. This movement vibrates almost as much in 1 second than a high beat movement will vibrate in an entire hour. So now let's talk a little bit more about the Snowflake. It's very surprising to me that this is the first time I've ever reviewed this watch in more detail. I have been familiar with this watch. It was a part of my journey in many ways in becoming fascinated with Grand Seiko, but the first video I've ever made independently reviewing this watch, which is pretty crazy to think about. Now, some of the considerations on the negative end before we jump into the positives. One is going to be the bracelet. I know a lot of this is overblown in my opinion. I think there's 2 things that happen. One is micro adjustment, which I think is absolutely fair. If you are somebody that wants a perfect fit and you might be on the unfortunate side of things where you can't get it just precisely, you might have to make some compromises for this to be slightly looser than you'd like it to be. So that's one consideration there. I do think some of the bracelet general points around finishing and how it feels comes down to just titanium's weight as a material. Some people feel that less weight might come off as feeling less luxurious, but if you think about it, there aren't many titanium watches from the bracelet to the case available until you start to get into Grand Seiko watches, which makes sense. This is probably many people's first time confronting a full titanium case and bracelet watch, which does give off a totally different feel and does not feel as substantial as stainless steel, but in turn does come with some other upside with that reduced weight and allowing this watch to wear smaller than it might indicate. But now shifting over to the pros, and now that there has been so many watches that have come out from Grand Seiko since the release of the Snowflake, it's easy to forget how important this watch was. This was the piece, more than probably any other, maybe even argue some of the Four Seasons watches, but that came after, that put Grand Seiko on the map. And a lot of this comes down to what this watch is able to deliver. There's a romantic aspect of this watch, but there's also this logical point where it's able to be utilized in so many different circumstances. The case finishing is phenomenal and next level. The dial is simply phenomenal. The imagery of nature and tying it in with Japan, I think, was one of the original points that allowed so many people to gravitate towards these watches. This is also one of the rare instances where you're getting a titanium bracelet and a titanium case while getting this level of case finish as well at this price. Pretty tough to beat. And then spring drive technology, I don't know if I can talk about spring drive enough. I mean, I always just get excited when talking about spring drive because whenever you go to camera and you talk about watches, a lot of them are using, simple approaches, just getting the job done. With spring drive, it's a testament to this creative problem solving that Grand Seiko was able to foresee and also just expressing a different way of telling time and doing it in a way that is unlike any other in the entire industry. That to me is special, and it almost just gives me life when talking about it. It reminds me why I love watches in the first place. And then just getting down to the logistics of the day-to-day, the spring drive is one of the most versatile watches that you can come across. It looks great with formal.
Okay. Seems like a fine watch. Maybe I'll go to the store and check it out. We've got 13 minutes before anything else. What is this? Trump is losing patience with Musk's outbursts over mega bill. A senior White House official said Trump wasn't happy about Musk's decision to lambaste his signature legislation, describing the president as confused as to why the Tesla chief executive decided to ratchet up his criticism after working so closely with the president for 4 months. Trump hasn't said anything publicly yet, right? MKBHD just released a Switch 2 unboxing. It looked like the... Is there even any like technological improvements over it? There must be something, right? Unboxing and first gameplay. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. If Trump starts attacking Musk, it's going to be insane to see how all the Trumples like 180 on him instantaneously. What time is anything else? In like 10 minutes. Wow.
Speakers are bigger. It's crisp. English, yes. The Americas, yes. Accept the agreement, yes. Okay, about to download update data. I heard about this day one update. You can continue setting it up while the update downloads, sure. What time zone am I in?
Wow.
Last thing I want to do is just go look at this physical game because the cartridge slot is still at the top. Where's my rich knife? So if I were to, in the future, maybe not get the bundle at launch, but get the physical Mario Kart World game, this is what one of those nice cartridges is going to look like. All right. It's so much plastic. This is a massive package for this tiny little cartridge right here.
That's what she said.
Those are your pins. There we go. MKBHD is logged in. Very nice. More users can be added if the system will be used by other people. Good to know. To parents and guardians, set up your controls. So I don't have any cards to add, but I would if I did. And then to set up the complete at home. Great. First look at the home screen on the Switch 2. So I could obviously jump in and download an app or game right now, but I think the move is straight to Mario Kart World. Nice. Software update's available. It'll download now. 120 hertz looks so much better. The paint all over the Joy-Cons and the back, and it looks super sweet. But this is the old kickstand, and this is the old Switch 1 size. This is the new Switch kickstand, and the new Switch size. The thickness is roughly the same, but obviously much bigger screen.
Okay. Listen, I'm so grumpy because I'm sick, okay? I'm not trying to be a capitalist shill, but we might for 6 months because holy fuck, the anti-cap takes are so annoying. Do people unironically watch commercials like this on purpose? My brother in Christ, young millennials, Gen Zers, and Gen Alpha, you guys are literally the most materialistic, like filter all your fucking pictures, like are incapable of existing in nature generations that have ever walked the fucking face of the earth. The materialistic shit and the consumeristic shit is all working because you fucking retards slop it up like crazy. If you don't like it, go outside and climb on a fucking tree or do something different, okay? You guys literally slop shit up like this, like crazy, and then you come online with your $1,700 fucking iPhones on your, premium fucking apps. You're like, can people actually buy this fucking shit? DoorDash $70 meal, go out with my friends and, pay $200 for whatever, get $100 in drinks, $200 fucking meal, blah, blah, blah. Like, Jesus Christ. If you don't like it, then don't fucking buy it. My God. Chill. Holy fuck.
Much better looking screen,
Jesus.
refresh rate, more storage, the whole deal. Obvious upgrade. But this is David's Switch OLED, which they did upgrade some other things on. Obviously, it's an OLED display, but it also has this full width kickstand. See, this is the difference that we're talking about. This is the Switch OLED on the bottom, Switch 2 on the top. And this happens so many times in even the smartphone world and the tablet world where we say, oh, we're nerds, we're really pixel peeping, we really want to see a higher fidelity, better looking display. But at the end of the day, most people just want a bigger screen, and that's what the Switch 2 is delivering. We also fully expect, if we're being reasonable, there's probably going to be a Switch 2 OLED at some point in the next 2 years or something. So I wouldn't be shocked when that shows up and that's even more expensive, but that's a bigger OLED display that's also 120 hertz and looks amazing. And they might even do some other things that upgrade the console. Like they weren't afraid of a new kickstand design and some other things for Switch OLED, but yeah. Oh god, I didn't actually think this through. That is fun. Yeah, these Joy-Cons are so much better than the old ones. Here, I'll just show you. Since we have them, we can actually do a direct comparison. You have to pull the little pin in, slot it up like that. And first of all, It's larger, which does make a difference. It's a little more ergonomic. But then also every single button is bigger. The joystick is bigger. I saw that there was a pre-installed screen protector on the Switch, and it's true. I can see it.
Pre-installed. Destiny proxy defending his merch prices. True. Destiny.gg/. Wait, is it merch? Oh my god, it even redirects. Buy my stuff. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. We're trying to solve homelessness in California with my merchandise, and it's priced as such, okay? There you go. Give it to all of your unhoused neighbors. Buy extra.
I'll get a shot of it so you can see what I'm seeing. But they say don't remove it. And now that I've seen the instructions, okay, I won't. But if you want to install one on top of it, that's cool too. Like dbrand has a prism screen protector you can install on top of this one, and that will hold it and protect whatever's underneath. Now, one of the big Switch 2 talking points, which I mentioned in that last video, was that game that essentially acts as a tutorial to learn about your Switch doesn't come with it. It's not free, and it's not here. But there are some
I think nobody disagrees with this, right? That Nintendo has the literal worst naming schemes for their consoles of any console creator fucking ever. Jesus.
Built-in tutorial things like how to use mouse controls. If I pop one of these off, select next and follow the on-screen guides, put the bumper on. Oh, there it is. Shows up immediately. So I don't know if you can see that, but I am using this as a controller, and I'm also able to scroll inside windows, which is kind of nice. And then of course I can select using that top button. So it works pretty well. I think there's gonna be a couple games that do immediately support this out the box, but it's probably not something a lot of them are expecting to use. Like I did that wheelchair soccer game when I was doing the demo when I first tried to Switch 2, and it worked pretty well, but yeah, we'll see what other games in.
Wait, why? What? Based?
Up using that. So if I was wondering what the rest of the home screen stuff looks like, because this is also something we haven't seen yet, looks pretty familiar. You got your picture up at the top because that's your account, and I'm sure I'll blur my friend code so nobody spams me. But then of course your games, and then underneath, game chat's in there, settings are in here. I can go to, let's see, can I change my display refresh rate? TV resolution is automatic, but up to 4K, which is great. So it doesn't look like I can decide to go down to 60 hertz. This is for just TV. Yeah, I feel like these new Joy-Cons are almost as much of an upgrade as the new screen. Just having these huge new buttons, the whole Joy-Con being bigger, ergonomically it's better, the haptics are better. I should probably drop the sound a little bit, but yeah, it is much better to game on an individual Joy-Con with the new one. So if you're thinking about—
Can the Switch 2 play old Switch games?
Switch 2, oh, is that really that much of an upgrade? Is it that—
Yeah, they should have called it the Super Nintendo Switch, true, or just the Super Switch.
Different to game on it. It's going to feel different because of the Joy-Cons just as much as the screen. So here's all three Switches all lined up next to each other. Switch 1, OG, Switch OLED, new kickstand, OLED screen, Switch 2. Obviously the biggest difference is just that it's bigger. I mean, this is my first impression. The bigger Joy-Cons make such a big difference, so most people are going to enjoy bigger Joy-Cons and bigger screen. We also are expecting an OLED version later. I'm going to get to much more detail in the full review, but also if you're considering getting a Switch 2, you're probably also thinking about getting a case, in which case you should consider the Kill Switch by channel sponsor dbrand. Okay, so this is the Kill Switch case. Also, it looks like dbrand left a note which says, we know there's a lot of features, but they're all pretty important. You can try to fit them in the end roll.
Wow.
I'll try. So this is the case. It's got this super rigid travel cover, crush-proof, just toss this thing around, which is great. Then with this little bungee, which is kind of sick, you take the cover off, and inside you'll notice there are 10 slots, magnetic holders for your games. Just take the games with you. But then even once you got the cover off, it's still protected, and you have full access to the kickstand, which is sick. You can still fully remove.
Wait, does the Switch use cartridges actively, or do you just download the game onto the Switch? Or how big are Switch games? How big is the internal storage?
The Joy-Cons, unlike a lot of other cases, and the Joy-Cons have this ergonomic back on them as well, which is kind of killer. So now the Joy-Con's bigger and more comfortable to hold, kind of like a real mouse in the hand. So put the bumpers on, use it as a mouse. That's nice. So then for docking, dbrand includes a dock adapter with every Kill Switch. Pops in like that. So all you gotta do is place your Kill Switch on the front tray, and they're connected, and now they're docked. Full 4K 60 pass-through, and the dock fan still cools the dock normally. And I haven't even touched on the durability, the build quality, the materials. This thing is a tank. So yeah, if you're gonna travel with your Switch, highly recommended. And if you wanna grab one for $35 off, I'll have a link down below in the description. That's it. Thanks for watching this first impressions. Let me know what you want to see in the full review, what games I should play first of all, which experiences I should use game share with, using the camera with, using the Pro Controller with, because I want to be pretty thorough. But this is a first look at the newest console from Nintendo. Thanks for watching. Get subscribed to see that stuff. Catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I don't... No fucks given. We'll watch the rest of this tomorrow. We'll probably watch this one tomorrow too. Apparently Fantano went uber soy. He went maximum soy. God damn it. God damn it. He's trying to play Force and Seeds.
Shut up, Brian. I could probably just loot it. Don't make it easy to just fucking loot it right now.
What? Why is he playing? Why would he even do it? Or what's the point? What's the difference between regular Fantano and soy Fantano? I don't know, about 6 years? He's trying to say that Forsen got lucky. Okay.
If you just want me to kick him out, not mention it, not care that this kid
Not at
is
all.
anti-Semitic,
Not at all.
shut
Not at all.
up. If you just want me to ignore it,
Don't tell me to shut up. Don't tell me.
shut the fuck up, you bald fuck.
Okay, go ahead.
How's that?
Oh, it's kill. I'll never recover from that, Dave. Go ahead, continue. I'll never recover.
You ever try these Minecraft speedruns? Yeah, but I got really bored. Once I hit like a sub, like 10 minute, I was like, this is meh. So I kind of dropped it after that.
Well, you're the one who like, oh, big boss man, don't tell. I'll tell you, you work for me.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
You little bitch, you work for me.
Sure, you bet. For now,
Oh, you
continue.
don't? For now, quit. I don't care. I'll
Is
see
this
500 grand.
is this show or not a show? Like, is this a show or not a show? Like, we can't have a conversation?
You're an idiot.
Okay, continue.
You're literally saying people should be allowed to make Jew jokes, say whatever they want right fucking now. That's
Yes,
what
I
you're
think
saying.
people should be allowed to make jokes.
So how many motherfucking Jews have to be killed before you stop? Hey, Kirk, if you just want me to kick him out and not mention it.
Okay. We're not allowed to make anti-Jew jokes now? Holy shit. Comedy is illegal again. Not good, guys. Honestly, that Dave Pizza clip was bad. Wait, what was the Dave Pizza clip? Or are they referring to a particular thing? What was the joke that they're talking about? Someone said, fuck the Jews. Well, that's not really a Jew joke, though, right?
Knows the rules. We didn't get here the first time. Place is very cool on the inside. We got Frankie Lazzani's whole story, which almost seemed borderline.
Wait, is he Jewish? Am I supposed to know this? Dave Portnoy, is he a Jewish guy, or does he just fuck with the Jews and that's why he doesn't like all the anti-Semitism? Yes? Oh, okay.
Not believable. Like, see, there we go. There we go. What are you guys fucking laughing about? Terrible. Exactly. So here we go. One bite. Everybody knows the rules. We won't let that get into what is that Toronto hospitality then?
That clip is not it. Yes, it is. It's not it. That was it. There's another clip.
The Dave Portnoy Barstool F the Jews situation is crazy, has sparked mass outrage, but also divided the internet for a few different reasons. Senator Chris Murphy joins the show to talk about why and how he's going after Trump right now.
This is, as I said, probably the most massive corruption of the White House in the history of the country.
The Newark airport meltdown was actually worse than we knew, and then a good Dable had already been fired, and that he spoke to the people who actually ordered the sign.
I've talked to one of the two guys who did it. He's like, I'm not anti-Semitic. He's basically crying to me. And I'm just like, I don't buy it for a second. Who the would do that sign in my bar? You think I'm just going to sit here?
Wait, 4 weeks ago. Wait, this is a thing. This is old as fuck drama, no? Wait, who linked this? This is the, yeah, these are the kids in the club or whatever. Okay, good one. Well, Dan's here, so we don't have time now.
So he's calling this old school terrazza. One bite, everybody knows the rules. We didn't get here the first time. Place is very cool on the inside. We got Frankie Lazzani's whole story, which almost seemed borderline not believable.
Like, we just...
See, there we go. There we go. What are you guys fucking laughing about? Terrible. Exactly. So here we go. One bite, everybody knows the rules. We won't let that get into what is that Toronto hospitality there?
That's Damn, man.
So he's calling the...
Oh, this is even in Canada, too. Ouch. Alexander Augustine. Do I know this guy? At Wurzel Root. Or, I mean, do we know... Is this a guy on a show? Or is it just a random... He's got 34,000 followers. That's a Groiper. Oh, gotcha. Limfail. All his Zoomer audience laughs as someone yells "fuck the Jews" at him, forcing him to break character and reveal he isn't a fun, silly Irish Bostonian pizza bro at all, but a rich Jewish guy ready to send your ass to Auschwitz for anti-Semitism. That's a little bit fucking unhinged, but okay. 56,000 likes. Wait. You were on a Twitch panel with this guy years ago. Oh, then I definitely remember him, thanks. Oh, hold on, I'm killing the kick stream for a sec. I'll be back in a minute, because I had to restart the stream.
Allowing 1,000 penises into one vagina in 12 hours is disgusting.
But the more you talk about it, the more it turns me on.
You'd fuck an old man.
Oh yeah, of course I would. Old men deserve sex. I mean, the wife might be dead.
Jesus. Wait, is she the woman who did the 1,000 men or whatever, or is she just somebody talking about it?
I don't discriminate whether you're married, 18 or 80. I'll take anybody.
Out of the 1,000 men, there was a lot of barely legal boys. Do you not have a problem with the fact that they're literally borderline underage?
No, because they're 18.
But they're still children.
Yeah, but they're 18. I'd happily take someone like on their 18th birthday. Like, no problem.
How old
because
are
they're
you?
18, 25.
My nephew's 18. He's still a child.
I'll send him to me then. Hopefully I'll find him in my queue one day. It's hard work being a slut. Like, I've earned the title.
So you enjoy being called a slut? So do you condone cheating?
Yeah.
And if you had a daughter and she said, you know, Mummy, I want to be just like you.
Yeah.
And you'd be happy and you'd watch your daughter just everyone.
Yeah. I will raise my daughter to be independent and to follow her dreams. If that is to 1,000 people, I'll be there with a banner supporting her the whole way. Like, I love the idea that I don't know who's going to be inside of me. There's times I was in doggy and I'd turn around and I would have no idea who's in the back of me. And I love that.
That's disgusting. Like, you're a pretty girl. You could have gone into modeling, you could have gone into acting, you could have been like an influencer.
It's also very hard to get into that.
But so are people.
Not
constantly.
really. Like, I love that and that's what I've got passion about.
If that's really your thing that you get off on,
yeah,
you just go and do it in private.
Why do I need to do it in private? I'm proud of it.
Yeah, but
it's
you
like
shouldn't
going, oh, I've done an amazing piece of art, but I should hide it away.
But it's not, because doing art and
Is she... Do you think she's just farming this lady, or does she genuinely believe these things?
becoming a cum bucket is two completely different things.
Yeah. I feel empowered when I'm disrespected by over 1,000 men. Like, I have to remind them, spit on me, slap me, choke me, pull my hair, because they're too polite to me.
What you're doing is so damaging.
No,
to
she
women
genuinely
as a
hates her?
woman.
Oh, women
No, this one here. Is she farming the other person? I can't tell.
find everything to complain about.
Not
They'll
really.
cry about anything and everything nowadays.
So your family support what you do?
Super supportive.
So they don't like you?
No, they're super supportive.
But they don't like you?
Sorry, should I sit here and cry that?
I don't
oh
want
my
you to
God,
cry.
I took 1,000
It's not.
guys.
It's not about crying. You don't need to sit and cry that you fucked 1,000 guys. But there's a thing called shame, and we should probably bring that back.
Okay. Wait, why is he restarting on the same seed over and over again if Forsen got a lucky seed? Uh-oh. Okay, I'm going downstairs. I need to turn the computer on downstairs, so hopefully we're live in a minute. I'll see you soon. Kick.com/Destiny. Be careful. Be back.